Hey guys, so I just got back from it. My first double feature since like March. Yeah, like I used to, when I was doing these reviews, I used to do this all the goddamn time. Man, no wonder why. Like I was so exhausted once 2020 came along and I had like free, movie theaters were closed. I was kind of thankful because man, I didn't have to spend all my days at the fucking theaters like I used to, and now I'm back doing that. I mean, I didn't have to. That was my choice, but um, luckily, this is one of those times where both movies were about an hour and a half, so didn't I wasn't there like at least like it wasn't like something like back in December where I was like seeing like I saw Spider-Man: No Way Home and Nightmare Alley, both 2.5 hours, literally 2.5 hours. Both were really good, so this is one definitely one of those cases where I have a lot to talk about one of the movies, and I don't have a lot to talk about the other. And so I guess let's start with the one I don't have much to talk about. I guess and that is Mack and Rita. That was the first movie I saw. This is a movie I had zero fucking idea was a movie that existed until like about a few weeks ago when I saw this on the listings of the movies playing this weekend. And I'm like, what the fuck is Mack and Rita? And for a guy who goes to the movie theaters all the goddamn time, sees every goddamn movie that comes out, it's very hard for me to believe that I did not get a trailer for a movie that plays in the theaters. But I didn't. I didn't get one single trailer for this. Like that's only happened a couple times here and there this past year, but this is definitely one of those cases where I never got a trailer for it, and I saw it had Diane Keaton in it. I'm like, the hell? Uh, okay, it's like that's like usually when I don't get trailers for something like this, even though I didn't get stuff for trailers for like movies like X, which was a fucking great movie. It's usually for a movie that like has no big names in it. Well, it has Diane Keaton for fuck's sake. So I love Diane Keaton, and I was like, it's basically a body switch movie. Okay, I get on board for that. It's not very good. This movie's not very fucking good. It's not getting good reviews, and I can see why. It's just generic, forgettable. A movie I probably won't remember if in a day's time, not even a week's time, but probably about in a day's time. Hell, it's one of those movies that like I should have probably not saw. This is like the first part of a double feature because honestly, it's one of those things like when I was riding home, I'm like, how much do I remember of this fucking movie? And I had to sit there and think like, okay, this happened, oh yeah, this happened. It's not very good. It's not very memorable. It's like one of those movies you're like watching like Diane Keaton deserves a lot fucking better. Like, why is she in shit like this? Like, this is like every so often she does movies like this where like stuff like Book Club or which I remember being all right, and stuff like that. But this is one of those movies that are not very good. Like, basically, it's a plot. The plot is this woman who all all her character is basically all the character that you know about the Mac, the main character, main girl in this movie, is that she's a 30-year-old failing writer who apparently is an Instagram uh, or social media influencer, which fucking between this movie and the second movie I watched, both dealt with social media influencers, but the second one did a lot better. This movie didn't. Uh, she, I guess, or something like that, and she's also like they show her like when she was younger, she loved like hanging out for grandmother instead of hanging out with the kids. So she was the weird girl who liked to hang out for grandmother and dress up in like clothes that her grandmother would wear. She feels like a 30 she's a 30-year-old who feels like she has a 70-year-old woman trapped in her body. That's her quote, not mine. Don't yell at me. And so she's uh, at, on a bachelor or at party for her friend who's about to get married. I think in like Vegas or something like that. And she's being a fucking Debbie Downer because she's obsessed with fucking old people. That's just her characteristic, is that she's obsessed with old people. She looks longingly at the old people just sitting across the street from her and her friends, just sitting there eating pancakes. And she just wants to be like them. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, that's not much of a character. It's like, she's really has this weird obsession with old people. Like, goddamn. So, she sees, like, this guru played by Simon Rex, who is like, I didn't recognize him. I was like, Simon Rex. That's not the weirdest casting in this movie. But Simon Rex, yeah, is like this guru who helps people experience their past life or something like that, or some shit like that. And all they have to do is go pay him money and go into this tanning bed. And the girl goes in the tanning bed and says she feels like she's a 7-year-old woman trapped in a 30-year-old body. And when she comes out of the tanning bed, she's Diane Keaton. Don't ask me how the fuck that works, but it fucking does. Even at one point towards the end of the movie, this guy says, it's just a tanning bed. So I'm like, but then how the fuck did that happen? like, I mean, I know, like, you know, Freaky Friday. It's not even a Freaky Friday situation, because usually Freaky Friday, it's not like Diane Keaton is like her aunt, which she's supposed to be. Like later on in the movie, she fakes her name is Rita, is an aunt of hers or some shit like that. But it's like, how the fuck did she end up being Diane Keaton, and how and why and what the fuck? Like, no one really questions this. Like, what the fuck? There's like no family members. They're like, where the fuck happened to my daughter? Or like, don't have a mom or a dad. Apparently, they never fucking pop up in this movie. It's like, I was like, anybody question what the fuck happened to them? It's not like Freaky Friday where their personalities go into different bodies, like go into a different body or something like that. And, you know, it's not like that. She just is not existent. Diane Keaton's just there. Like, okay. Like, how the fuck does that work? I couldn't figure out the fucking logistics of this. It was driving me nuts while I was sitting there thinking about it. It's like, when this movie's not very good, not very funny, and very generic, you just sit there and think about random shit like that. Like, this movie doesn't work. It makes it kind of really disturbing when you fucking think about it, because it's like, where the hell is this person? Where's this woman at now? Like, she's trapped in Diane Keaton's body? How does that fucking work? Like, who's Diane Keaton's character? Like, she's not nobody that she knows. I don't know. I'm just sitting, like, I know it's movies, so fucking don't even ask me. And, like, I know it's a movie, but still, when you're bored and sitting there, you start thinking about fucking stupid shit like that. Like, how the fuck does this work? And, what was I gonna say? It's not like I'm gonna spoil it. Diane Keaton does, like, I was expecting, like, towards the end of the movie, like, her character, or she would pop up at the end of the movie as a different person or something like that. But it didn't happen. But so she's trying to live her life, normal life, as Diane Keaton, and pretending to be her aunt that no one knew of. And that's how she gets away with it. Although her best friend who's about to get married knows who she is and stuff like that. And then she has the courage to talk to her crush, who lives in the same apartment building as her, and her crush is falling in love with Diane Keaton and not her, which is really fucking awkward when you think about it. But especially when it comes to the end, you can probably figure out how this movie ends. I mean, if you see one of these movies, you see them all. One of the weirdest fucking things I didn't fucking know about this movie, Martin Short is in this movie. And I didn't know that until I saw I was leaving for the end credits. I saw Martin Short's name pop up. I'm like, Martin Short? I watched this movie, and yeah, I zoned out here and there, but I don't know, fucking remember Martin. It's like, is this a different Martin Short? I'm like, no, it's Martin Short, the comedian that everybody, it's well known, well loved. And I was like, he was in this movie? Did I fucking really zone out and not fucking notice Martin Short? It's like, it's kind of hard to fucking not notice Martin Short. And he, I looked it up. He makes a small voice cameo as the voice of her dog. When Diane Keaton, some reason, decides to fucking take mushrooms, she hears her dog start talking to her, and it's Martin Short's voice. What? Like, what? Like, I'm just like, and I'm like, and then like, it took me a fucking, I can't believe it. I'm ashamed that it took me a long time when the main girl's character's name is Mack and her dog is named Cheese. I didn't get the joke until like they had to point it out to me, and I felt embarrassed when I fucking couldn't figure out that joke. Mac and cheese, get it? God, that was a stupid joke. But yeah, I didn't care for it. It was just a generic nothing movie. Uh, yeah, it was nothing. It was there. It's not. It's not gonna be on my worst list. It's just there. It's nothing I'm gonna remember if in a week's time. But yeah, that's as far as Mac and Rita. I don't recommend it. I do got one more review to do, and until then, I'll talk to you guys